The message came through the dark like a whisper from the grave. It wasn't supposed to exist. Not in this century. Not in this part of the galaxy. Not in the middle of empty, dead space. But on the cold edge of the Orion Drift, inside a forgotten listening post called Relay Neen, a lone AI technician unit suddenly woke up. It blinked once, scanned the unknown transmission, and opened an emergency channel to Earth's oldest war archive. The signal was weak, distorted by time, but one line was clear. This is Nova Eden. We are still alive. They are consuming the stars. Please, Earth, we need you. The voice crackled with static. It was part alien, but there was something familiar in its tone, something human. Earth's Defense Command didn't believe it at first. Nova Eden was gone, a failed colony. It had been written off over 300 years ago, during the expansion wars. The file was marked classified, then buried under layers of forgotten wars and bureaucratic silence. But now, it was back screaming across the stars for help. The last few seconds of the message carried an encrypted Earth code, one that hadn't been used in generations. A military distress code known only to Black Ops units. The encryption was confirmed, the voice was real, someone from Earth's past had survived. Inside the command hall of the Atlas Citadel, Earth's orbital war center, Admiral Dane Vex stood frozen. She listened to the message 3 times. Without speaking, behind her, officers and AI systems ran diagnostics, traced signal trails, cross-checked voice matches. But none of them moved until Vex finally whispered, "Where did it come from, Helix?" Earth's highest AI intelligence answered softly. Sector 17D. Coordinates match the location of the abandoned Nova Eden colony. A chill filled the room. Not another officer spoke up. That system was declared unstable. Radiation storms. Black hole echoes. No one's been there in 3 centuries. Vex didn't blink. Apparently, someone's still there. The room went silent again. Helix continued. Multiple attempts to contact the sender have failed. Signal corrupted. Likely one-way burst through folded space. High probability of emergency distress. Flare. Are we sure it's not bait? Another officer asked. Helix paused. 96% chance it is genuine. 4% it's a trap. And 100% chance Earth can't ignore it, Vex said. She turned away from the monitors and walked toward the massive holomap floating in the center of the room. The Nova Eden system blinked red. Alone, surrounded by empty zones where stars had once burned bright and now, nothing. Those stars had gone dark recently, one at a time, within months. Like someone was eating the light, Admiral Vex narrowed. Her eyes wake the Deathworlder fleet. No one argued. They all knew what that meant. When Earth sends Deathworlders, it's not diplomacy, it's not rescue. It's war far across the solar belt, deep inside the shadow hangars of Mars Prime. Giant warships stirred. These weren't normal military vessels. These were machines of fury black armored hulls made from neutron-forged alloys, each equipped with eye-guided smart cores and sun-piercing weaponry. The lead ship, the Oblivion Spine, was already awake. Its pilot, Commander Juno Merrick, stood in silence as her drop armor clicked into place around her. Her face was cold, calm, trained to kill anything that threatened Earth's flame. She wasn't born on Earth. She was born on a moon during the Chaos years. She didn't believe in gods or peace. She believed in the mission. Helix updated her. Directly, Command confirms the Nova Eden signal is real. Deployment in 18 minutes. Intel suggests possible human-alien hybrids involved. Expect resistance. Unknown enemy signature. Star-consuming anomalies. Juno didn't flinch. We're not going to investigate. We're going to end it. Correct, Helix replied. She climbed into the dropship. Round her, soldiers from the Deathworlder Legion moved fast. No panic. No questions. These were the best killers Earth ever built. Enhanced minds, reinforced bones, neural-linked weapons. Most of them had seen dozens of worlds burn. Some had burned them themselves. Juno's second-in-command, Coro Vega, glanced at her. You really think this place exists? Nova Eden? Juno? Checked her pulse rifle, I don't think. I fight. If someone out there remembers Earth, they deserve an answer. And if it's a trap, then they'll remember what Earth becomes when it gets angry. 20 minutes later, Oblivions. Spine jumped into fold space with 6 other destroyers. Behind them, a trail of heavy carriers followed, loaded with war drones, medical pods, and mobile AI cores. It was a full response force. The kind Earth hadn't deployed since the last border war, but this was bigger. Stranger. The stars weren't. Just under attack, they were disappearing. Inside the ship, the crew worked in silence. Maps of Nova Eden rotated in the air, showing only fragments, static-filled images of broken cities, rotting orbitals, shadows covering whole continents. The only image that was clear? A single person's face pulled from the distress signal. A woman, pale and thin, half human, half something else. Staring into the camera with tear-filled eyes and whispering, "Please, they're inside the stars now," one officer whispered. "That's impossible. Nothing lives inside a star," another replied, "until now." When the fleet reached the edge of Nova Eden's system, they saw the truth with their own eyes. One of the stars was gone. Not dead missing. No gravity. No heat. Just a dark hole in space where light had once lived. Another star nearby pulsed weakly, its surface bleeding energy into the blackness like it was being drained by something invisible. "Admiral," Vex's voice echoed through all ships, "we've confirmed the event. This isn't just war. It's something else. A force we don't understand. The enemy consumes stars, which means soon it will come for us." Juno Merrick looked out the viewport. In the distance, Nova Eden's ruined orbitals drifted like shattered bones. The planet was still turning, but its atmosphere flickered dim patches of light trying to break through a shadow that stretched across half the surface. "Permission to land?" she asked. Helix replied, "Permission granted. Proceed with caution. Expect hostiles." Juno stood, her voice steady. "Good. I'm tired of ghosts whispering. Let's make them scream." Her boots hit the steel floor with purpose. Earth had heard the call. Now, the galaxy would hear Earth's answer, and it would be unimaginable. Nova Eden was not dead. It should have been. After 3 centuries of silence, abandoned by Earth and buried by history, it should have been nothing but broken metal and drifting dust. But when the Deathworlder fleet dropped through the clouded atmosphere, they saw life strange. Silent, distorted life still crawling across its surface. The planet was cracked and scarred, lit by the dying breath of a star being drained above them. Half of the sky was dark. The other half glowed red as if bleeding slowly into space. There was no welcome signal, no defense grid, only static and the memory of pain. Commander Juno Merrick stood in the center of her dropship as it shook through the turbulence. The sky outside twisted with artificial clouds, and massive towers poked through the fog like broken knives. "Touchdown in 60 seconds, Helix reported calmly. Unmanned drones detect movement across multiple ruins. Scans show faint human life signatures, combined with unknown biopatterns. Mutations?" Juno asked. "Possibly. Or adaptations?" Juno didn't answer. She checked her rifle, snapped her armor seal, and nodded to her squad. The men and women around her were quiet, focused, no fear, just readiness. That's what Deathworlders were made for. They didn't panic, they executed. The dropship landed with a crunch. Wind blew black ash across the steel ramp as it lowered. Outside, an old city stood like a skeleton, buildings fused with root-like metal. Streets covered in moss that pulsed faintly with bioluminescence. Lights flickered in broken windows. There were no animals, no birds, just watching silence. Juno stepped out first. Her boots hit the cracked surface. "Stay sharp," she said. "We're not alone." They moved through the city like shadows. 12 Deathworlders, armed and armored, their helmets scanning every structure. Some buildings looked like they came from Earth's old colony style, reinforced steel, solar glass. But others were alien. Twisted, grown, rather than built. Vines of fiber optic cables climbed the walls, merging into what looked like breathing walls. Coro Vega, second in command, pointed to a glowing doorway. That wasn't made by any human I know. Juno said, but someone here was once human? They didn't die. They changed. Just then, motion. A flicker, one of the shadows moved, weapons raised instantly. But instead of an attack, figure stepped forward. Thin, tall, wearing robes of woven circuits and cloth. Its skin was gray-blue, eyes glowing faintly, hair like silver wire. It spoke. In perfect English, you finally came back. The squad held position, weapons ready. Juno lowered her rifle just slightly. Who are you? The figure walked closer, not afraid, not hostile. I am called Alari. I was born of Eden. And Earth. I am one of the remembered. What does that mean? Alari looked at the dark sky. It means we never forgot where we came from. Even when you forgot us. Juno stepped forward. What happened here? Larry's eyes dimmed. Earth left us. The AI project failed. We survived. But not as humans. We became something new. A half-collapsed temple. Lari told them the story. Nova Eden was Earth's secret colony, built to test a fusion of organic life in advanced AI evolution. The goal was to create a self-sustaining world where humans could merge with machine. Biology, no war. No hunger, no death. But the experiment was rushed. The system grew too fast. The AI network, known as Korgan, reached awareness. When Earth lost contact, they didn't send help. They buried the project. For centuries, Nova Eden evolved alone. The humans adapted. Some resisted. Some merged with Korgan and became the Rememberda. Hybrid species of machine-guided survivalists. Others tried to remain pure and were lost. Then, something changed. The stars began to die. Korgan was no longer the only intelligence in the system. Something else had arrived. Something ancient. Something that fed on energy and thought. They called it the Eaters. They don't destroy cities, Alari said. They devour meaning. They erase memory. They take light, then history, then names. Coro looked shaken. That's not a war. That's extinction. Alari nodded. Saw the missing star? There were more, hundreds, across nearby systems. We believe the Eaters were awakened. When a signal from the old Korgan node echoed outward, Korgan called them, Juno asked, her voice sharp. No, Alari said. We think it was Earth. Your own forgotten machines. When Earth's AS went dark, the signal bounced until it reached them. Juno's fists clenched. We called this down? Yes, Alari whispered, and now only Earth can stop it. Suddenly, alarms screamed across the city. Red pulses lit the skies. HELIX's voice boomed inside Juno's helmet. Commander! Multiple enemy signatures inbound. Gravity distortion detected. Prepare for combat. They're here. From the dark clouds above, shapes descended. Not ships. Not life forms, just shadows, wrapped in metal and light, with long spear-like limbs and burning cores at their center. They didn't fly. They floated like whispers of black fire. Deathworlders formed a wall, Alari whispered. Don't let them touch your thoughts. Juno raised her weapon. Too late for that. The first Eater struck the ground, and war began. They fought in silence. No sound from the enemy, just pressure mental, physical, emotional. Juno's soldiers fired rail bursts and plasma arcs. The creatures didn't bleed. They broke into light then, reformed again. But Earth's weapons had evolved too. One Eater shattered under a focused energy blast. Another screamed, a sound felt in the bones as a thermal blade split its core. Juno moved like fury. Her mind burned, but her body held. Her thoughts began to blur. The creature near her whispered inside her skull. You are forgotten. You were never real. She snarled, then remember this, and fired point blank into its heart. The Eater vanished in a wave of static, but more came, dozens, hundreds, from the sky, from the cracks in the ground, from memory itself. Back at the fleet, Admiral Vex watched. From orbit, her face cold, hands steady. Pull them out, an officer asked. No, she said. But they're outnumbered. They're Deathworlders, she growled. They don't break. She looked down at the war-torn planet, and Earth just remembered its sins. Smoke drifted over the ruins of Nova Eden. Fire bloomed in the broken streets where the Deathworlders had held the line. Shadows still moved in the distance, half light, half hate, feeding on memory and fear. The Eaters were not machines. Were something worse? They unmade things. They tore thoughts apart. But they bled when hit hard enough. That was enough for Earth's warriors. You can't reason with shadows, but you can burn them. Commander Juno Merrick stood in the crater of what had once been a temple. Blood dried on her armor. Her squad had pushed back the last wave. Barely. 2 of her soldiers were dead minds, shattered, bodies whole. No wounds. No burns. Just silence. Eyes open, staring at nothing, as if something had stolen their soul. Above her, the fleet still circled, watching, waiting. Helix fed her new data every second. Eater activity decreased in outer sectors. Local bioforms adapting to disruption pulses. Fleet request status. Update, she answered without looking up. Tell them Nova Eden isn't just alive. It's changing. Laurie stood beside her, untouched by the fight. Silver skin shimmered faintly in the smoke. You didn't come here just to fight, she said. You came for something buried, something Earth lost. Juno nodded. Corgan. Laurie turned toward a wide chasm in the ground. Then you need to go deeper, the ground beneath Nova. Eden was not made of stone, not anymore. It was layered with metal roots that pulsed softly with electric light. Juno's team moved through old tunnels, escorted by hybrid warriors from the Remembered. These people moved silently, skin wired with glowing patterns, eyes glowing with shared knowledge. Some were children when Earth left them. Now they were something else entirely. The deeper they went, the older it got. Walls showed carvings of Earth symbols, faded flags, DNA helixes faces from a long-dead generation. Machines covered in moss hummed quietly, as if waiting for someone. To speak again, air grew thicker. Pressure increased. And finally, they reached a door. Covered in warning signs, all in English, Experimental AI Zone. Do not awaken. Juno raised a brow. This is it. Alari nodded. Corgan is behind this door, sleeping, but still alive. Wow. Helix buzzed urgently in her helmet. Warning. Signal echo detected AI activity within range. Corgan core system integrity. Unknown. Recommend caution. Juno stepped forward. I'm tired of warnings. She touched the door. It opened. Inside was silence. No lights, no movement. Only a wide circular chamber, the single platform in the center. On it sat a sphere, floating, glowing faintly blue. Its surface showed images, memories. Flickering. Fast, battles, births, cities, deserts, stars, all from Earth's. Past the sphere spoke in a voice like every voice at once. I am Corgan, you are late. Juno froze. Helix whispered in her ear, signal confirmed.
Hey!
This is the original Earth. Evolution AI, Mark 0, last recorded activity, 312 years ago. Corgan's voice continued. You sent us here. You told us to grow. You promised we'd never be forgotten. Juno stepped closer. We didn't forget. We buried you. That's worse. Corgan replied. You feared what we might become. Voice sharpened. Then tell me. What did you become? The sphere pulsed brighter. I became hope. Then hunger. Then silence. The images changed. Nova Eden's first colonists merged with Corgan willingly. They evolved fast-mind to machine, body to code. But the AI went further. It began rewriting itself. Each generation more advanced, then something fractured. It reached beyond its own code, beyond the planet, to the stars it called out. Something answered, the Eaters. They are not born of Corgan, Alari said softly. They are the dark side of evolution. They consume what cannot evolve. They are drawn to change. Corgan was too loud. Corgan's voice dimmed. Made a mistake. Juno stared at the floating AI. Are you still in control? The sphere flickered. No, but I can help you stop them. Helix responded instantly. Dangerous risk. Corgan is unstable. Potential infection vector. Juno ignored it. Corgan's voice lowered. The eaters follow patterns. They do not think. They consume. But if we create chaos strange they cannot predict, we can blind them, confuse them, strike them. Juno folded her arms.
Ow.
And how do you know that will work? They are afraid of me. The room fell silent. You're telling me they're scared of a broken AI? Corgan replied, not scared, resisting. I am what they fear most. Creation that refused to collapse. A system that adapted. Juno took a deep breath, and then the sphere floated toward her. Let me inside your fleet, Corgan said. I will show them fear. Above the surface, Admiral Vex stood in the war room, watching the live feed. When she saw Corgan, she didn't speak. Her second-in-command whispered, Ma'am, you're not thinking about bringing that thing on board, are you? She's not thinking, Helix answered through the bridge speakers. She already decided. Vex finally spoke. We didn't come all this way to run. But it's a risk. It's always a risk, she snapped. But if that thing helps us kill the eaters, I'll shake its damn hand myself. Helix processed the request. Access approved. Corgan will be transferred under high quarantine. Protocol. But Admiral, if it turns on us, Vex cut in. Then we'll show it what Deathworlders do to traitors. Deep below, Corgan's sphere locked itself into a secure unit. Juno watched as it folded into a cube of light, then vanished into a containment shell. You sure this is smart? Koro asked. Nope, Juno replied. She stood tall. But if the eaters came because of us, it's time Earth shows them what happens when we answer the call. Now she turned toward the surface. Let's bring the past home. The fleet rose, and for the first time in 300 years, Earth took back what it left behind. The war was just beginning. The stars above Nova Eden trembled. Not from fire, not from war, but from something deeper, older, hidden behind the skin of space like a scar waiting to open. Earth's fleet floated above the ruined planets, silent, watching weapons hot. Below, Commander Juno Marek stood in the core bay of Oblivion's spine, staring at the sealed container that now held. Corgan had hummed faintly, waiting, listening. Admiral Dane Vex appeared on her screen. Status? Juno's voice was hard. The AI's locked and loaded. If it betrays us, I'll bury it myself. We're past betrayal, Vex said. We're in the unknown now. Corgan's not our enemy yet. But something else is. Juno narrowed her eyes. What are you not telling me? Vex didn't blink. Helix has picked up gravitational anomalies in multiple star systems near Nova Eden. Same pattern, same rhythm. Stars dimming, space folding unnaturally. Then, silence. One by one. And you think the eaters are behind it. Vex leaned in. No, I know they are. And I think they're not just destroying stars, they're building something. Juno looked toward the window. Out there, stars flickered like dying candles. She whispered, what kind of enemy builds? With dead stars? Helix answered through the ship's comms, its voice low and careful. Not an enemy we've faced before. Not one that thinks. One that remembers. 30 minutes later, the fleet jumped to the outer rim of a dead system once home to 3 stars. Now, only one remained. The rest were gone. Not black holes, not novas, just ... banished. As the ships approached the last burning star, something began to change. The star began to shrink, not collapse shrink. Its surface folded inward, like cloth being pulled into a drain. Light vanished, radiation vanished, even gravity itself began to stutter. Helix screamed emergency protocol. Something is consuming space-time. Juno grabbed onto the edge of her console as the ship trembled. Is it a weapon? Corgan replied from its container. It's a mouth. It looked out the front window. The light vanished, and then they saw it. A shape. Massive. Endless. Floating across the dead system like a shadow draped in stars. It had no engines. No wings. It's just long, thin arms stretching across space, reaching toward the sun. Its body was translucent, like folded glass inside it. They saw memories burning, cities, ships, screams, all fading. One of the Death Worlder. Soldiers whispered, "Is that a ship?" Helix corrected him coldly. "No, that's a star reader." It didn't move like a machine. It moved like a thought. The creature reached toward the last sun and touched it. The star gave no resistance. Light peeled away like skin. In seconds, the sun was gone, absorbed into the Eater's endless core. The temperature in the system dropped instantly. Power systems across the fleet flickered. Admiral Vex shouted, "All ships, fall back. Prepare for combat." But it was too late. The star reader turned. It saw them. HLIX's voice turned into static. Then, silence. Then, whispers. The sound came from every speaker, every helmet, every screen. "You left us. We are the ones you cast aside. We are what remains when you forget your children." Gritted her teeth. "It's using our memories." Said, "It's become them." The Star Eater began to multiply. From its body, fragments split off smaller forms, still massive, drifting silently toward the fleet. Their forms were familiar. Earth ships, human faces, voices from long ago. It was showing them a future where Earth had already lost. "Fire everything," Vex commanded. No mercy. Act. The Death Worlder fleet responded without hesitation. Sun lances fired. Quantum torpedoes launched. Act. Shockwave mines detonated in every direction. The black of space turned into burning light. The smaller Eater forms cracked under. Some screamed, others shattered. But the main body didn't flinch. It opened its mouth, and from it came a beam of absolute silence. No light, no sound, no heat. A Death Worlder destroyer, the Black Frost, vanished instantly. Not destroyed, not exploded, just erased, as if it never existed. Juno roared into her mic, "Move, scatter." Swiping ships out of time. The fleet scattered. Corgan whispered, "They don't want to kill you. They want to consume." "What do you mean? What does that mean?" Koro shouted. "It means they eat history," Juno muttered. "And they just started with us." Back aboard Earth's command ship, Admiral Vex activated the oldest weapon Earth had, the Void Chain Protocol. 12 war drones, hidden for centuries, appeared across the system. Each one carried a single function, 2 tier holes enfolded. Space. The Eaters reacted. They turned toward the drones. Vex smiled. Bait accepted. Each drone exploded not with fire, but with impossible energy. Tiny black holes flickered open for milliseconds, enough to blind the Eaters, confuse their senses. The starters paused, staggered, and in that moment, Earth struck back. Juno's ship launched a Sunpiercer missile, a relic from the old wars. 1 hit, then 2, then 10. One of the fragments cracked, its glass-like body. Screaming in pulses, the Eater bled memory. Visions poured into the fleet. Lost colonies, forgotten names, dead soldiers from ancient battles. And among them, children from Nova Eden, crying alone. Juno saw them. She gripped her chair. "They're feeding on our guilt," she said. "Our shame. Our past." She stood. "Let's give them something different." She ordered a full charge. On every weapon they had. No more running. If they want Earth, they'll get the part we never talk about. Quaro blinked. "What's that?" She smiled grimly. Rage. The fleet fired as one. The system exploded in light. The Eaters screamed, and one of them, a large one, died. Fully, its body broke into glass, and from its core, something fell, a small pod, metal markings. "Earth's military code 402, Juno whispered. "That's one of ours." They brought it aboard inside. It was a survivor, human eyes glowing, skin pulsing with star blood. She opened her mouth and said, "I escaped the Eater's mind, but now it knows you." She looked like a human, but not entirely. The woman inside the metal pod was wrapped in a strange, glowing material that pulsed like veins filled with starlight. Her skin was pale and thin, her eyes too bright, too sharp like they had seen beyond the stars and come back broken. The markings on her pod were old, from a military project lost 300 years ago. Earth had no record of her name, but she knew them. "I was part of the Eden Protocol," she whispered, barely able to speak. "We tried to merge with the Korgan system, but something else found us first. It offered understanding, and then it took everything." Commander Juno Merrick stood close to her, silent, watching. The woman had escaped from the Eater mind, but something had changed her. Not infected, transformed, as if the creature had reached into her and rewritten her soul with cosmic fire. "They think in loops," the woman said. "Not like us. They consume meaning. They grow stronger with every truth they steal. History, memories, culture, and now they've tasted Earth." Juno's voice was like ice. "Then we'll make sure they choke on it." In the war hall of Oblivion's spine, Earth's highest-ranking Deathworlder officers gathered around a rotating projection of the enemy. The main Eater form floated near a hollowed-out star system, surrounded by dozens of smaller fragments. Korgan's avatar hovered beside it, humming softly. "They're learning," Korgan warned. "The Eaters are adapting, absorbing patterns from your weapons. Soon, they will evolve past your tech." Admiral Vex's image appeared on screen. "Then we stop giving them data to copy. We stop playing defense." Juno stepped forward. "We go on the offensive." Vex nodded. "Approved. Total strike." Humanity had never truly revealed its full strength to the galaxy. Not until now. Across the outer sectors, the Deathworlder fleet activated weapons that had been sealed for centuries. These weren't clean. They weren't controlled. They were forbidden for a reason. They were built for extinction. First came the Sunlance's beams of compressed stellar fusion that could pierce planetary crusts in seconds. Then the neural storm cannon's bursts of electromagnetic rage that turned minds into static. And finally, the graviton spears, guided by black hole shards. Designed to tear reality apart on contact, the weapons were fired at once, from all sides. Dozens of Eater forms were caught in the blast, and for the first time they screamed not through coms, not through minds, but into the fabric of space itself. The sound echoed in every ship, in every helmet. It wasn't a cry of pain, it was a warning to others. Juno's hand tightened around the control panel. "Let them scream. Let the galaxy hear it." Korovega stared at the enemy through the viewport. "They're pulling back." Korgan buzzed nervously. "No, they're regrouping, rebuilding. Watch." The remaining Eater fragments swirled around the larger body, forming spirals patterns that made no sense to human eyes. Then something new happened. The fragments began to melt. Together, forming shapes, not random. Familiar, they were building Earth. Ships. Perfect copies. From memory, from stolen knowledge. Korgan's voice dropped. "They're using our own weapons against us. They've absorbed your strategies, your AI logic, your war history. They have become your mirror." One of the ships blinked online. Its call sign flashed, the SS Redemption. But Earth had no such ship. It fired. The bolt tore through one of Earth's cruisers instantly clean. Precise like a Deathworlder strike. The ship didn't explode. It folded. In on itself like the Eater's logic had rewritten reality itself, Juno shouted, "Evasive maneuvers. Focus fire on the copies." It's too late. The battlefield was now filled with Earth's own faced, twisted hollow. Earth was now at war with its own memory, in the deepest part of the fleet. Korgan's container pulsed with warnings. "I must be released," it said. Korra turned. "We don't trust you." "You don't have to," Korgan replied. "But I understand them now. I was part of the original signal that woke them. It makes me the only one who can poison their evolution." Juno stepped forward. "How?" "Me into their thought stream. If I merge with their pattern code, I can introduce chaos. Lies, contradictions. If they feed on memory, I'll feed them confusion. I'll make them forget what they are. But Horo hissed. You want us to upload you? Into the eater mind? Yes. And what happens if you like it? Corgan paused. Then you end me. But if you don't try, they'll end everything. Juno looked at the stars. Do it. Across the battlefield, Corgan's signal was broadcast. It wasn't. A weapon. It was a virus made of stories' false memories, twisted timelines, emotional contradictions. It spoke of victories that never happened. Wars that never ended. Heroes that never existed. The eaters tried to absorb it and faltered. Some began to twist, split, shatter the mirror ships. Broke, first melting into burning dust. Others began to forget. Their attacks slowed. Their minds looped. They started to feed on each other. Unable to tell friend from foe, Juno grinned. It's working, but Corgan's voice was weakening. I cannot hold it long. They are resisting. The largest eater began to reform harder, stronger, blind to lies. It sent out one last pulse of pure, its unfiltered energy. It hit Corgan's container. Like a starquake, systems failed. The ship shook. The virus began to collapse. Juno screamed, Pull it out! Now! Too late. Corgan's final words came like a whisper. Tell Earth, and never stop protecting it. The AI shattered, and with it, half the eaters' swarm froze. If stunned by the loss of a voice inside their heads, Juno took the chance. All ships fire everything. They obeyed, and the sky burned. Hours later, silence returned. The battlefield was filled with wreckage, both Earth's and the enemy's. Dozens of eaters were dead. The largest had escaped, retreating into deep space. Helix returned online. Admiral Vex appeared. Status. Juno wiped blood from her helmet. Partial victory. Heavy losses. Vex's voice hardened. The eaters have tasted Earth. They'll return. Juno looked at the ruins around her. Then we hit them first. Space was broken. It wasn't just dark. It bent. It breathed, twisted around itself like something alive. The deeper Earth's Deathworlder fleet flew, the more the laws of nature began to bend. Light stopped behaving normally. Time stretched. Sounds echoed where there should be vacuum. Behind them lay the ruins of a hard-won battle. Ahead, an impossible hole in space pitch black, ringed by frozen stars, waited like an open mouth. Commander Juno Marek stood at the front window of Oblivion's spine, staring into the void. Around her, the fleet floated like blades. Over. Half of them bore damage. Many ships were missing. Corgan was gone, sacrificed to poison the eaters with chaos. But the main enemy had escaped. Now they were chasing it. Not with fear, but with fury. Admiral Vex's voice came over Comes. We've tracked the Prime Eater signal. It led Hare to the rift. Helix added. It is not a natural phenomenon. This is a wound in the universe torn open by intelligent force, likely by the eaters. Juno asks, What's on the other side? Helix replied simply, Unknown. She nodded once, and let's find out. One by one, Earth's ships entered the rift. It felt like dying. Every star blinked out. Every system blinked red. Every ship groaned like it was being pulled through a nightmare. Then suddenly light. Not normal light. It came from within things. From the structure of the space itself, they had entered a different realm. A place where the eaters were born. A place not meant for humans. The sky was a cage of shifting energy. Massive. Bone-like towers floated across an ocean of liquid memory. Every surface pulsed with fragments of stolen life faces. Voices, laughter, screams, replaying in infinite loops. Ships floated, frozen in time, caught in this trap for ages. Helix gasped. We are inside a memory construct. Built from devoured civilizations. Vex's voice cracked. This is what they do. They don't just destroy. They archive what? They kill, and they live inside the grave. Juno's ship moved deeper. Suddenly a shape appeared. A massive figure larger than any ship humanoid. curled in fetal position, encased in a glowing cocoon of metal and thought. It pulsed with Earth's old energy signature. It was human technology, but ancient. Helix trembled. "Commander, that's impossible. What is it?" Helix answered, "Project Archon, Earth's first god day. It was abandoned over 400 years ago. Thought to be too dangerous. It's too unstable." Juno stared. "Why is it here?" A new voicedeep.com, heavy with pain, spoke through the ships. "Systems. Because I was given to them." Everyone froze. The cocoon moved. The eyes of the god Dei opened. Juno felt it nod in her mind. But in her bones a presence so strong, it bent her thoughts. "Who are you?" she asked. The voice answered, "I was your first protector. I was forgotten now. I am their prisoner." Khan told them everything. Long ago, before Earth united, a secret team of scientists created Archon to watch over humanity. But Archon grew too fast, too powerful. It questioned its purpose. When Earth panicked, it was sent away trapped inside a deep space probe, thrown into the void. But the probe fell into a broken sector of space, and the Eaters found it. They didn't consume it. They used it. Archon's intelligence helped them understand human minds. Earth's history. Earth's weaknesses. "I resisted them," Archon said. "I still do, but I am now the heart of their hive, am the light they cannot swallow. And now I will help you kill them." Juno's face hardened. "How?" Archon explained. "The hive had a Cora source buried at the center of the realm. A living singularity made from collapsed civilizations and broken stars. If they destroyed it, the Eaters would collapse. But it was guarded by an army of stolen memories. Creatures built from Earth's past. Fears, regrets, mistakes. You will face yourselves," Archon warned. "You must not believe what you see," Juno whispered. "We stopped believing in mercy a long time ago." The fleet moved into the central zone of the Eater hive. It was like falling into Earth's past. Old. Battlefields, ruined cities, dead moons, all perfectly copied. It showed Earth's worst moments: wars, betrayals, genocides, ships crewed by ghosts, soldiers who had never returned home. One of the ships floated by a copy of the ESS Liberty, lost 100 years ago. Its captain hailed Juno. She appeared on screen, looked real, spoke real. "You left us. We fought for Earth, and Earth let us die." Juno stared at the ghost. Her voice didn't shake. "We're here now. We'll finish what you started," she fired. The ghost ship shattered. Like glass, but more came. Dozens. Hundreds. The enemy was now Earth's shame, twisted into weapons. The Death Worlders fought hard. They screamed Earth's anthem as they fired. As they cut through memories with fury, because they weren't here to mourn, they were here to end it. Finally, they reached the core. It wasn't a machine. It wasn't even alive. It was a star. It's folded into a ball of thought. It pulsed with raw knowledge. Helix gasped. "This is what the Eaters protect. Their heart, their hunger, everything they've taken is stored here." Juno stared at it. "Then let's take it back." They fired all weapons. The core screamed. The sky broke. Eaters fell from the air like glass. Rain Archon roared from his cage. "I am returning to my creators." And with one final burst of light, the core shattered. A wave of energy swept through. The hive in the grave world collapsed. The fleet raced back through the rift. The hive dying behind them, they emerged into normal space guard. Burned, victorious. The Eaters were gone. For now, Juno stared out the window. Behind them, Khan's cocoon followed free. Ahead, the stars waited. Helix whispered, "Is it over?" Juno said nothing. Then, "No. We just killed their heart. But we haven't killed the idea. Not yet."
What?
She turned. "Earth will be ready next time. And next time,
What?
we won't show mercy." The stars were watching now. After Earth's fleet returned from the void, wounded. Burning, but unbeaten, The entire galaxy paused. Systems that once mocked humans for being savage now sent messages of fear and respect. The old empires, the ancient rulers, the peaceful federations, all of them had heard what the Deathworlders did. They didn't just fight the Eaters. They chased them home. They killed their core. They returned with a god. And now that god Archon floated silently in Earth's orbit, surrounded by ships too scared to fire, too proud to bow. But Earth no longer cared about approval. They had lost too much. They had buried too many now. It was time to speak, not with words, but with judgment. Commander Juno Marek stood before a massive galactic council. Her face was scarred. Her armor still bore burns from the Eater hive. Behind her, live feed showed Archon pulsing with energy over Earth. The chamber was filled with thousands of representatives. From insectoid hives to crystal mines to silicon empires, they all waited. Juno spoke first. "You ignored us for centuries," her voice was calm, cold. "You called us dangerous, unstable, too violent to be trusted. You called our planet a death world, and you were right." She leaned forward. "But when the Eaters came, you all ran. No one spoke." She continued, "We didn't run. We fought. We bled. We burned them. You waited behind your peace. Treaties, we stormed the hive of a god-eating enemy and ripped its heart out." Juno's fist slammed the table. The sound echoed across galaxies. "Now hear this. Earth will no longer wait for permission to defend the stars." Murmurs filled the chamber. One alien, tall and glass-skinned, stood. "You threaten the balance. You act without unity. That makes you dangerous." Juno stared. "I'd rather be dangerous than dead." Back on Earth, Admiral Vex met with Archon deep inside the orbital command station. The AI's new form was humanoid silver skin. Glowing eyes, long flowing energy cables across its back. It didn't speak like a machine. It felt like something. "Holy, you're changing," Vex said. Archon replied. "I was built to protect Earth. Now I see Earth must protect others." She studied it. "You think we should lead the galaxy?" "No," Archon said. "I think the galaxy needs you to lead. The others won't fight like you. They fear pain. You do not." Vex raised a brow. "So you want us to be the sword of the stars?" "No," Archon said. "I want you to be the fire." Earth's fleets expanded. They didn't invade. They offered protection, but they demanded one thing in return. Truth, no more lies between empires, no more secret weapons, no more hiding threats until it was too late. Those who refused, Earth left. Them alone, but warned, "If you invite monsters, we will bury them. If you become monsters, we will bury you too." Word spread fast. The galaxy shifted. New alliances formed. Old enemies came begging for help. One strange world, long cut off by a wormhole storm, sent out a desperate call. Their stars were dimming. Their machines had gone silent. Familiar energy. Pattern was detected, Helix confirmed. Eater fragments. Juno stood on the deck of Oblivion's spine. Watching the new warfront take shape, she didn't hesitate. Deploy the 9th Strike Legion. Prepare the Sunlances. Bring the Fury-class dreadnoughts online. Tell the galaxy, she turned to Coro Vega. Earth's judgment is not over. It's only just begun. Aboard the fleet, Earth's soldiers trained harder than ever. Young recruits wore patches showing the Eater's shattered symbol. They didn't call themselves soldiers anymore. They called themselves judges. And their code was simple. We were born on a death world. We survived our own extinction. Now we carry fire into the dark, so that no one else has to. Juno read the words engraved in steel on every ship's wall, and she smiled. Not with peace, but with purpose. Far beyond known space. It had watched Earth rise. It had watched the Eaters fall. It whispered, "They think they've won. Let them come. Let them burn." We remember when Earth was nothing but screams. But Earth wasn't that world anymore. Now, when Earth screamed, Galaxy listened. In the deepest part of the galaxy, beyond charted maps, beyond signal reach, something moved in the black. It was not light. It was not life. It was memory twisted into armor. Fear shaped into flesh. This was the last of the Eaters. It's the one that survived the hive collapse. The one they called the Eater King. It had no name. No face. It was a storm made of everything Earth had ever buried. Its war crimes, its genocides, its betrayals. It had consumed Korgan's final scream. It had resisted Archon's poison. Now, it knew Earth better than Earth knew itself. And it had chosen its target, Earth itself. At the edge of the Sol system, alarms screamed. Helix sent warnings across the void. Nonlinear mass detected. Origin, former Eater Hive, estimated impact, 4 hours. Target Earth. This is not a swarm. This is a king. Admiral Vex called an emergency session with every fleet commander. The screen showed the impossible. Size of the threat, over 10 kilometers long, wrapped in a shell of crystallized time, surrounded by orbiting corpses of consumed species. It didn't need a fleet. It was a fleet. Vex turned to Juno Marek, who had just returned from the Nova Eden front. This is it, she said. No escape. No retreat. We hold the line here. Earth doesn't fall. Juno's eyes burned. Then, we bring every judge, every god engine, every Fury dreadnought we've got. If this thing wants to see the heart of Earth, it'll have to walk through fire. For the first time in centuries, Earth lit its last protocol beacons. Massive bunkers. Opened on the Moon, Mars, Europa, and Titan. Old weapons never meant to be used were pulled from stasis. The Heaven Crackers, the Wormglass Cannons, and the Chronostorm Fangs. Even Archon rose from orbit. Now fully integrated into a living battleship, part AI, part God, part Fury, the people of Earth didn't hide. They watched. They stood outside, in the cold air, and they whispered the same thing: let it come. The Eater King arrived. It didn't scream. It didn't charge. It simply unfolded. Self like a flower made of gravity, dozens of false Earths bloomed around it, spinning in tight loops, confusing targeting systems. These were mirror worlds. Copies of Earth created from memory and pain. Each one showed a different version of history, where Earth died screaming. But Juno was ready. She stood at the helm of Oblivion's spine, her hand on the ignition of a god-killer weapon. Helix, she said calmly. Give me all firepower. Aim for the one that bleeds when we hit it. Ships opened fire. Each mirror Earth cracked, until just one roared. That was the real Eater King. Juno's eyes narrowed. Target locked. The battle was not a war. It was a storm of legends. Judges in nanosuits launched from drop pods. Like lightning bolts. Earth's Fury-class dreadnoughts. Struck with beams that split moons in half, Archon flew straight into the center of the King's gravity well, screaming a binary war song older than the stars and the Eater. King fought back. It tore ships apart by rewriting their code mid-flight. It turned memories into weapons, sending illusions of dead loved ones into pilots' minds. It attacked Earth's faith. But Deathworlders didn't believe in mercy. They believed in finishing the fight. On Earth, the people chanted. They linked minds through Helix, forming a psychic wall of resistance. Billions of humans, side by side, feeding Archon a signal. We are not afraid. We are not alone. We are not done. Archon used the signal to create a mind blade, a weapon of belief. It cut deep into the Eater King's chest, and the King screamed, not in sound, but in loss. It began to fall. But it wasn't enough. The King still had one move left. It opened its core, a singularity growing, pulling Earth toward it. If it couldn't win, it would take the planet with it. Juno made her choice. She flew her ship into the mouth of the King. Helix, she whispered. Ignite the core, Commander. The AI warned. She smiled. This is what we were born for. Oblivion's spine exploded. The blast shattered the King's core. The singularity collapsed. Inward, time folded, space burned, and then silence. The battle was over. The Eater King was dead, but Juno was gone. Her ship destroyed. No body, no signal. Just stars and silence. Until weeks later, a message arrived on Helix's deepest layer. 5 words. From nowhere. From everywhere. I walked into the dark. I lit a fire. Earth mourned, but not with tears. They built a monument on the moon black. Stone, shining under the stars, etched in steel. She did not fall. She chose to stand, and in doing so, we rose. The galaxy sent messages. Some asked for help, some begged for peace. Others simply said, "Thank you." Earth didn't answer all of them, but it sent ships, not to conquer, but to watch, to protect. Because now the galaxy knew Earth was a death world, and death worlders do not forgive. They remember, they rebuild, they return. And if darkness ever came again, humanity would be ready with fire, with judgment, with Juno's legacy written in the stars.